England's coastline faces threats arising from coastal erosion, cliff instability, and landslides. Such hazards are particularly dangerous where development has taken place close to unstable and retreating cliffs. The Camford Cliffs are located on the far east side of Bournemouth Beach and have experienced episodic mass movement over the last 50 years, starting with two significantly sized landslides in the 1970s that demolished several beach huts. This was followed by transverse steel beams being positioned down the cliff face in an attempt to stop further slips. Unfortunately, there was a further slip in 1993 that was then handled by inserting soil nails into the cliff face. The most recent slip was in 2017, which was monitored by laser scanning and inclinometers to check for further movement. Finally, in 2018, movement was detected, leading to plans being made for the current 2021 stabilisation of Camford Cliffs, where 1,600 soil nails and a steel mesh were used to hold the cliff sediment in place. The aim of my research is to investigate the rate of retreat and the effects of cliff stabilisation at Camford Cliffs over the last 50 years. My objectives are to evaluate whether previous stabilisation projects were effective in stabilising Camford Cliffs, to illustrate the rate of retreat at Camford Cliffs, and to identify the main causes of cliff retreat and erosion. Using Google Earth, I was able to create a map to visually display the retreat of the cliff top from the years 2000 to 2021. I began by using the ruler function to draw a 200-metre line just above the cliff top to help me create four 50-metre transects in which I would draw along the top of the cliff and measure the change in cliff top positions from the years of 2000, 2005, 2014, 2018 and 2021. I then measured the difference between the cliff tops for each year and recorded the data into a table in Microsoft Excel where I would calculate the average rate of retreat from 2000 to 2021 and create a graph showing the rates of retreat from each year interval. The rate of retreat calculated from my research was 1.5 metres a year, whereas a report from the BCP Council, which took readings from 2000 to 2020, stated the rate of the retreat was 1.8 metres a year. The difference in my results to the BCP Council may be due to the lack of accuracy when measuring the cliff top, as some images were blurry, causing difficulty to distinguish where the cliff top was when tracing on Google Earth. On top of this, due to the lack of clarity of images, I was only able to use certain years to map, causing a deficit of usable data. From my research, it is clear to see that the previous projects to secure Camford Cliffs were unsuccessful from the rate of retreat staying constant. In 2002, local authorities were responsible for coastal protection under the 1949 Coastal Protection Act, which granted funding from the government to implement SMP schemes, as there was a legacy of older defences failing, causing cliff protection to become more challenging to maintain. This prompted the monitoring of Camford Cliffs for mass movement in 2017 and the stabilisation in 2021 to completely replace the previous projects effectively. The main cause of erosion at Camford Cliffs were due to surface runoff eroding the tertiary sandstone and the Paleocene gravel, as well as a high water table in the surrounding Camford Cliff area due to poorly permeable silts allowing for a no-flow condition of groundwater. These conditions meant loose sediment eventually succumbed to gravity, leading to landslides and cliff retreat. The implications of the 2021 stabilisation are increased public safety along the 200 metres of coastline, as the risk of mass movement and cliff retreat are no longer a hazard to beachgoers and property at the top of the cliff. This has allowed for new public plans to build new seafront infrastructure and beach huts along the base of the cliff. Furthermore, the project has secured land that is part of Poole Cliffs Site of Nature Conservation Interest, which is home to the rare sand lizard and Dartford warbler, which are both protected species.